Amy's bumper to bumper on the car.
This may look like a heck of a bumper, but that's not actually what it's here for. It's here for its weight, because we need the car to fly like a rocket. And to do that, it's crucial that we have proper balance. In rockets, you need to have the center of gravity forward of the geometrical center. And so, since we've added a lot of weight in the back, because our rockets are actually quite heavy, we need to add a bunch of extra weight on the front of the car. And hopefully we'll bring that center of gravity forward enough to do the job.
Yep, and with the bumper on the front, the rockets are carefully loaded onto the back.
Does this look as dangerous as it feels?
Is that a rocket in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Yes.
But for safety, they won't be wired to ignite until launch.
Okay, that's it.
And speaking of ignition, time to check the Cobra firing system.
The rockets are in, but more importantly, the ignition system is in. Now this is critical because this is where everything could go horribly wrong.
This is ignition test in 3, 2, 1. That's awesome!
It's awesome. And with the car dressed for success, Adam's getting excited.
For me, the most intensely rewarding thing about doing this story now is thinking about the last 10 years and how far we've come. I look at the very first rocket car story, the first story we shot, the first story that aired 10 years ago, and we were so green. We knew so much less than we know now. Yeehaw! And it really feels rewarding to be back out in the desert, putting the final nail in the coffin of this story, hopefully, and putting it to rest once and for all. It feels great.
The next check to make is the remote control. And for that, Grant's reinvented the steering wheel.
Everybody clear! They're going to be using these controls, which include gas, steering, brake, and of course, the kill switch. All this is going to put Jamie as close as he can be, while still being safe, to being in the driver's seat.
Yep, and now to put them into the beast. And with the controls in situ,
I'm ready.
Inside the beast, Adam and Jamie prepare for a static range test.
Okay, I need you to step on the brake.
That is so cool.
Car going into drive. Okay, chocks away. Okay, Jamie, it's under your control.
The theory is that this system should have at least 1,500 feet of range, which is something Jamie quickly proves.
You're at 1,500 feet. That's fantastic. You still have control?
Yeah.
Excellent.
First test couldn't have gone better. I was able to steer perfectly, stop perfectly. I had good acceleration. Everything's working like a charm.
Working like a charm. But now, to add another layer of complexity.
In this test, both the white car and our truck will be moving so that we can make sure we are within radio range as long as possible.
So this time, both MythBusters are in the driver's seat. Jamie for the Beast and Adam the Impala. And with the shields down, they hit the gas.
In 3, 2, 1, go!
However, controlling one moving vehicle from another isn't easy.
You're going way off.
Oh, it's moving off to the right a bit. Oh, it's way right. Get back in the center.
As the car veers out of control at 50 miles per hour,
Stop!
Adam puts the brakes on the test.
All I see is a cloud of dust.
I can't even see the car anymore.
This is a great example of why you run tests, because that didn't work at all. Trying to drive the rocket car via the remote screen while the dump truck is moving threw my sense of direction and steering completely out of whack. It's not feasible. We've got enough signal strength to make it to the berm, we're pretty sure. There's enough things that could already go wrong without adding that difficulty, so the truck will remain stationary for this test.
With so much that could go wrong, it's all about limiting risk, which means keeping it simple and keeping the beast stationary. So the last thing to worry about is the rockets.
For due diligence, we test-fired one of the rockets out of the batch of rockets we're going to be using on the cars. And it was successful. The thing is that these rockets are basically a controlled explosion, and to get the most power per pound out of them, they push them right to the edge. And if they make a mistake and they push them a little too far, you've got a pipe bomb. And that's basically what happened on the second rocket car. This time, since we've done test fire, and it was successful, we anticipate we should have a successful run on the cars.
Well, those could be famous last words. But with the equivalent force of a JATO wired for action,
This is going to be awesome.
this little Impala is packing heat.
In plain talk, 10,000 pounds of thrust is 4,500 horsepower. That's a lot of go fast.
A lot of go fast. And with the rockets locked, loaded, and live, the countdown can begin.
All right, this is it. 10 years in the making from the very first episode of MythBusters. And here is how our test is gonna work.
Adam and I will be driving the rocket car from inside this thing right here, which we call the Beast. It's our mobile bunker.
Tori Grant and I will be here in the command center, monitoring the car getting up to speed. When it hits its mark, I'll hit this button.
And then, 1 second later, the rockets will ignite, and that rocket car will go racing straight into the burn.
And if all of that works absolutely perfectly and this myth is true, we should find this car converted into nothing but a hunk of metal embedded in that mountain over there.
So at T-minus 40 seconds, it's chalks away.
Okay, the rockets are armed. We are on our way.
And then finally, it's all over to Adam.
All right.
All right, all systems are ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
I swear my heart's beating like 100 times a second. Here we go. Carrie, are you ready on the button?
Ready.
Tori, are all the cameras rolling?
We are ready here in the bunker.
All right, let's do this. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Rocket car, JATO, mission accomplished in 3, 2, 1. Break off. Here we go.
There she goes.
Since the beginning of MythBusters in 2003, the team has put over 850 myths to the test. But one legend has long eluded them. And now, after a decade, they're back for the ultimate conclusion. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, start your rocket engines. 'Cause this is JATO 3. It's the myth of a rookie rocketeer who attached a JATO to his car and went from 50 to 300 miles per hour in no seconds flat. But when he hit a bump in the road, he was launched into urban legend and a cliff face. But will that be the case when the legend comes face to face with reality?
There's so many things that could go wrong right now that I'm not really concerned whether or not this car's gonna fly. I just wanna make sure it drives straight, the rockets go off at the right time, and it hits the burn. Is it gonna fly? I don't know. But if it doesn't, it's not for a lack of trying.
Arming.
Indeed. And with the rockets armed, the car primed, and the team hunkered in their bunkers,
I swear my heart's beating like 100 times a second.
after a decade of myth-busting and 2 failed attempts, the myth comes down to this. Will the Impala finally take flight? Or will it go down in flames and MythBusters history?
Rocket car towards the berm. 5 rockets in 3, 2, 1. We are starting off. Break us off.
There she goes.
Okay, the car is rolling.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's hearts and mouths time
25.
as Adam slowly accelerates the car up to 50 miles per hour.
You're drifting. Straighten it out.
Yeah.
And back on the center line,
37. You're doing good.
Get ready, Carrie.
the Impala reaches the black flag.
You're gonna make it.
Over you go.
saw sky! I saw sky just for a second. Woo!
They got airborne.
That was amazing!
Wow.
That was insane. 1 second the car was there, and the next second it was gone.
On ignition, the Impala rocketed to 200 miles per hour, barreled over the berm, careened out of control, and twisted through the air, leaving in its wake the kind of debris you only get when you combine the MythBusters, rockets, and cars.
Wow, that thing is mangled. Holy cow.
That's a work of art.
Yep, this is what happens between a rocket and a hard place.
See it, but I don't believe it.
Oh my God, the front end is completely smashed.
That is cool looking.
Did it even catch air?
I saw it clear about 20 feet or so. It was quite a ways after the berm, but who knows what it was doing. It was just going nuts.
But it was nothing like the myth.
No, it was far more out of control.
Far more out of control, because one thing is for sure, that Impala certainly didn't make the Mile High Club.
Rockets!
Look at that.
And then, oh, you know what? The wheel went under, it went sideways, it flipped end over end, and wow! That thing got tore up. Beautiful.
That might be my favorite high-speed shot I've ever seen.
That was gorgeous.
And I love that it lands on its base. Oh, and there goes the tire.
It's rocketed to #1 for Adam and for Nailbiter.
This is one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life. The car starts to move. It's kicking up dirt like crazy. It's moving faster and faster. It's getting closer to the mark. My hand is shaking above the ignition button. I'm waiting. The car approaches the black marker. It crosses, I push the button, and then the longest second of my life begins. There's a lag time, but my heart doesn't know that. I stop breathing, the butterflies are puking in my stomach, and then whoosh, rockets ignite, the car screams towards the berm, goes over, and then starts to veer to the left, and then end over end, engines, wheels, carnage. Great experiment.
And although we didn't see a car fly, you can't say they didn't try.
Well, what can you say? We're not rocket scientists. I do want to point out, though, that the only thing that survived this whole thing was what I built and things that were attached to what I built. It's still here. The rocket pocket and the truss. Heck, the whole engine fell off. The whole front of the car fell off.
I think it's pretty clear. What we have here is a case of Mythus testis. We just have to find the culprits.
So as the sun sets on the wreckage, those culprits can close the case.
So do you guys want to call the myth 10 years later?
I think we can definitively say that the original rocket car myth, once and for all, totally busted.
Is this part of the story where we get to replicate the results?
Let's do it.
Please, don't try anything you're about to see at home. We have experts to keep us safe.
This stuff is extremely dangerous. Just don't do it.
As the sun rises here on the Mojave Desert, allow me to welcome you back